I finally finished my move and I've come back to what was a pretty spicy weekend of VGC. Now, over the weekend we had two, major tournaments or big tournaments, however you want to, call it here. We had the Spear Pillar tournament and then we also had the Lima special event. Now, unfortunately, at the time of recording this, also I'm way too red. That's really bad. I'm gonna have to play around with my lighting here. But at the time of recording this, unfortunately, there is no information on the Lima special right now. Unfortunately, no data. Hopefully it comes out in the coming days, but yeah, I can't cover it right now, sadly. But thankfully, we do have the Spear Pillar event here. I think it's had like 150 players or something like that. 170 almost. Okay, kind of crazy. But this event was pretty spicy for a couple reasons, right? So, first thing to cover here is Archaladon Rain plus Mousehold ended up winning the event here. DT Link, this has become what is a relatively standard core, I would say right now. I forget exactly who popularized it recently, but it's essentially, it's your main Rain 4, right? You got, the Pelipper, Basculegion, Archaladon, right? I should say the main Rain 3. Then you've got, your standard support duo here of Ints and Amoongush, just incredibly good together, especially on Rain. And then the final piece here, Mousehold, right? It can be the Follow Me Tauntmon. It can also be, the offensive, population bomb set, while also being there to buff up the Archaladon, right? Getting it to +6 defense, which is pretty damn good. So, relatively standard team. Obviously, we can tell right now Archaladon Rain is here to stay, especially the Mousehold variant. I do think this is probably the best version. But we do have some other spicy techs here. And before we go into all the teams, I guess I just want to briefly touch on them all. So, we end up seeing Urshifu Rain here, basically coming second. Poliwrath, obviously, the poor man's Urshifu. I think many would even argue that this probably isn't like a top 2 or 3 like fighting water type in this generation, but is what it is. We see another Rain variant here. Obviously, you've got the Goldie, the double Grassy plus Sneasler. Pretty good team, and also cool to see Poliwrath getting a bit of shine here. Obviously, it's a decent Swift Swimmer. Water Fighting is a very good offensive typing, and Belly Drum plus Liquidation and Drain Punch is also really good, especially when you have the support of things like Fake Out and Rage Powder, Pollen Puff. He doesn't even have Pollen Puff on this team, actually. It's just Rage Powder plus Spore, but yeah, pretty cool there. We also have a team here. This is just kind of like, I don't want to say it's a standard core, but we are seeing, these double, triple Dragon teams rise up, and Garchomp plus his Dragonite right now is definitely a very potent combo. Basically, the combination of like a Ground Stab in Earthquake is very good at pinning a lot of the steel types, because again, every team is running one of the big 3 steels, right? You got Archie, you got Goldie, you got Arch, you got Arch, you got Wolf running Bronzong, which we'll get to in a second. This guy kind of crazy, but then we got, King Gambit, Goldango here, and Goldango again. So every team in the top 8 right now is running a a steel type. Because of that, ground coverage is very good. And a lot of these steel Pokemon do like to opt for things, that obviously resist, ground, right? And what's it called? Our good friend here, Rillaboom as well, one of the best answers into these ground types. And that's why you have something like the Terraflying D-Knight, right? Which is incredibly good into it. But yeah, just a cool, the rest of the team to really round it out. We've got Primarina, arguably the best fairy type in the game right now. Also arguably one of the best water types. Of course, Goldango, one of the big 3 steals. This team actually has 2 of them, which is kind of crazy. And then Mousehold on this team as well, which is really cool with Archaladon. Also a nice support as well for mons like Goldango as well, which I do like. And we also see a bit of a spicy team here as well, which is like the, the Scythe Spam mode here, paired up with obviously Pulse, and he's one of the best offensive combos in the game. Then I believe this Merca was actually Sunny Day on this team. I don't think, yeah, it was Sunny Day. So like Sunny Day plus Delphox is also pretty cool, because it allows you to go for things like Tailwind / Sunny Day next to the Delphox. And you can go for like the Heat Wave stuff without having to rely too much on the Expanding Force. I will also say as well, Terra Fighting, Terra Blast on Delphox is kind of sick. I do really enjoy that. And then obviously we get to the star of the show here, Mr. Wolfglick himself. I'm sure I'm probably going to put this in the thumbnail, because this is... Honestly, I'll talk about this team now. This is crazy, right? So, I guess for anyone who didn't see, he did stream the event. I believe the pace, if you want the team, I'm pretty sure it's on his Patreon. So you can go check it out there. But this team is like saucy, right? You look at it at first, you see Claire, Lapras, Golurk, Goth, Bronzong, Incin. The team, it doesn't look all that, let's be honest. It looks like an incredibly weird team. There is like 0 offense in this team. It is just a classic Wolfglick. He's pulled out something absolutely insane, and he's made it work, honestly. It's wild, right? So, let's kind of break down this team, because I do think this is the most interesting team coming out of this event. And I really do think it shows that if you are a really good team builder, you can honestly do anything in this game, right? Wolfglick, this team, again, on paper, doesn't look amazing, but the synergy on this team is absolutely insane. So, first thing here, obviously, we have Clef, Redirection Mon plus, Fairy type, one of the best at both of them in the game. Follow Me plus, Safety Goggles, really good into Amoongush. Also with Unaware, very good into things like Dondozo. Of course, having Moonblast, just one of the best stab moves in the game. Then it has Skill Swap, and Skill Swap has a lot of different niches that it can use in this game, right? So, for example, you can, Skill Swap a Terrain Pokemon to reset Terrain. You can Skill Swap an Intimidator like your own Incineroar to, double up on the Intimidate, stuff like that. But on this team, there are a few different things you can do. You can skill swap levitate, so you get your Clefable off the ground potentially. You can also skill swap no guard, so that your Clefable, you know, doesn't miss a move, which, I mean, it doesn't miss any of its moves anyway, so why does that matter? The answer is because of what Lapras has. So, if you guys see right here, this Lapras is rocking Sheer Cold, which basically means Wolf can grab no guard off the Golurk, put it onto the Clef, and then it can then put it onto the Lapras. And then Lapras will not miss a Sheer Cold. Which is absolutely insane. It's a wild tech, man. It is a really standard Wolf Glick, you know, just out of the box team. And it is honestly insanely cool. Now, there are a few other pieces as well this team has that's really good. So if you have a look at the Golurk here, it is running Reflect. It also has Curse as well. And I believe this team is actually meant to function in Trick Room here. Obviously, we have the Bronzong as the Trick Room setter. But this is a lot of very slow Pokemon. The one mon I will talk about shortly, which I do think is not slow, is the Incineroar, but we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, you know, you've got this Clef. It's really bulky. On this team in particular, because there's no speed, I would not be surprised if it was min speed. We have the Golurk here as well, which I think this mon's like base 60 speed. So again, I'm pretty sure it probably is just, yeah, it's most likely just, you know, Brave min speed. Terra Fighting Dynamic Punch is also really cool as well, because, you know, as I mentioned before, fighting is incredibly good in the metagame right now. So having, you know, something like Dynamic Punch, which I believe is like I think it's not 150 base power, is it? I feel like, I don't know. I think it's like a 50% accurate move that like always confuses. So in Trick Room, it can be pretty scary. Obviously, Bronzong here, super interesting. You can also potentially, you know, skill swap No Guard to your Bronzong, and it just puts everything to sleep. Which, yeah, is obviously interesting. Here we have, you know, the Lapras here, the sub Sheer Cold Perish Song. This is just, like, again, standard Wolf Glick shit, man. You pair Lapras with Goth, I don't know, you like, you Fake Out, you Perish Song. Yeah, it's really interesting. And again, like, Clef can also steal, like, Shadow Tag off Goth, and then you can cycle out the Goth and then bring it back in, and it's like, you know, you're not too stressed there. And then the final piece as well, which I thought was really interesting here, the Incineroar. Now, this Incin is Assault Vest. You know, not the common type we see here. Obviously, we do have Terra Grass, which, you know, does patch up some of those weaknesses to things like Water and Amoonguss. But the really cool thing on Wolf's team here is Throat Chop. Now, the reason why I think this is really good is because a mon like Incineroar is really good into, you know, these kind of like Goth things, right? Because a lot of the time what you'll see is, you'll see like Goth lead with like Lapras, or, you know, they'll position on the board at the same time, right? And you'll go like Fake Out Perish, you might go like Double Protect, or, you know, in this case, you might say like Protect the Goth, you know, cycle out the Lapras, right? And then you get your Incin in, you know, you Fake Out whatever. But what you can do to stop other Incineroars, right? Because you trap them in with your Goth, they, you know, most of the time they're just going to Parting Shot out. But when you're like max speed Throat Chop, you can like basically stop Parting Shot, right? Because like Parting Shot's a sound-based move, Throat Chop stops the sound-based moves. So on the turn, their Incineroar tries to Parting Shot out, you just Throat Chop it, and then it's kind of stuck on the board, which I do think is like a really, really cool tech. But honestly, I feel like I could make a whole video going over this team and all the little nuances it has. Like, you also see things here like Hill Pulse, you know, you've got Substitute, man. Like, Wolf honestly is like cooked up some nasty shit here, man. Like, honestly, go check out the replay if you guys haven't, or the VOD, I should say. It's on his YouTube channel. The team's sick, man. Like, it's like, again, I look at this team, I'm like, I couldn't play this team. I could probably queue up 10 games on like the showdown ladder with it. I'd be lucky to win one. But Wolf Glick, man, he took it to you know what, top 8. He got 5th place in a 170 player tournament, which is, yeah, honestly freaking crazy, and it just shows how good this man is at this game. But yeah, you look at some of the other teams here as well, right? We can, you know, have a little bit of a look here at some of them. This is, you know, again, a relatively standard set we're kind of seeing people adapt to right now. Scale Shot is really cool. I've been talking to some of the homies about it. I think Scale Shot D-Knight's actually really interesting right now. Obviously, Terraflying Terra Blast is one of the best ways to play it. And Lumberry as well is super good. Obviously, Multi-Scale is rising up right now, and I personally think a big reason for that is, like, one, you kind of want to run Protect on this mon. So obviously you can run it with Inner Focus, but a lot of the sets where you want to run it Inner Focus, maybe it's a bit harder. You want to be like Banded, AV, stuff like that. But also too, Incin usage is down just a little bit, and we'll check the usage stats as well, probably up to the top 8. But this team here is a relatively standard, you know, balanced team, really, right? You got the D-Knight here. This is kind of one of your Amoonguss answers with Lum and Terra Flying. Your King Gambit's got Safety Goggles as well. You don't care too much about Gussie. You got Sneasler on this team, which is also really cool because it has coaching. And the cool thing with like Sneasler plus D-Knight as well is you can coach into D-Knight. And then they Scale Shot, and they basically get +1 attack, +1 speed, and then the coaching, like, you know, negates the -1 defense drop from Scale Shot. But it's also really good as well, because at the same time, it's like, your Sneasler's going first, and D-Knight, you know, at least when it has, like, no speed, like, or speed boosts, it's going to be slower than most of the mons on the board, right? So you're going to get the +1 defense, probably tank a hit or two, and then you're going to, drop your own defense, which I do think is pretty cool. But yeah, Clef here, one of the best, follow me mons in the game. AV and Rillaboom, sorry, obviously one of the best ones in the game. I believe it was tied most used at this event, or second most used, something like that. And then Live Orb Premium Marine Air does seem to be the way people are playing it right now. Having that initial damage on turn 1, I do think is super valuable. We've gone back too far once again. We also see like another Dozo like HO team here. I'm not gonna go like look at this team. It's kind of what everyone expects, I believe. This team here is also really cool for a lot of different reasons. So this is something I was talking to the homie SB about recently, where he's preparing for the regional coming up this weekend. And we're looking at like a couple of like different modes that could be really cool. And one thing he really enjoyed was like the Annihilate like raid boss stuff, right? Where you're pairing Ape with like Grim Snarl, Sinister. I think they had like Insins on those teams as well. Basically like the thought process was, it's like, you have redirection, you have healing, you have screens. Basically you try to get the, the Ape to like +1, +2, and then eventually it's just going to sweep through the game with support, right? But the reason I really like it on this team in particular is because you have so many different modes, right? You have this P2 Ursaluna mode where it's like, okay, if you overcommit for the Annihilate, but all of a sudden Ursaluna under Trick Room is going to, run through you. This team also has as well bulky support, Volcarona, which I do think is also really good right now. Having Flame Body plus Rage Powder into this metagame is really good, especially when you're going up against things like Sneasler, right? Being a bug type, you resist the fighting type move. And also with Rage Powder, you can normally redirect at least one attack. And yeah, the chances of them proccing, a Poison Touch is basically the same as you proccing a Flame Body. Actually, sorry, this team's Cover Cloak as well, so it would have to be Poison Touch. Yeah, you can't get Dire Claw, which is also really cool. But yeah, one of the better, I guess, redirection ones right now. Grimmsnarl as well, I think, is really underexplored. I think a lot of people kind of got scared of Grimmsnarl because of the Urshifus, and like, yeah, when you've got these like guaranteed crit bots, it makes a lot of sense. Also, I feel like my camera is like, I don't know, it looks like it's blurring a bit. I apologize. New setup still isn't 100%, I guess. But yeah, when the Urshifus were in the game, obviously Grimmsnarl is one where it's a lot harder to play, right? Because yeah, you can set up a Reflect, but all of a sudden they just crit through and take 2 KOs anyway. But also Specs Goldango as well, I think is really good on this team. So yeah, this is a really cool team, man. They've got a lot of different modes. You can get the Goldie behind screens can break a hole for the P2 Luna, right? And I think a lot of people forget as well, P2 is actually a really good Pokemon. I think this mon, and you see on this team as well, it's Trace. It's not even download or adaptability, which is like really, does it even get adaptability? I feel like it does. I feel like it gets analytic. But yeah, I don't know actually. When I play P2, I play download. I'm a noob, man. But yeah, this is just, yeah, a really, really cool team, man. It's awesome to see like Ape getting some of the shine it deserves, because I do think that mon is a bit underexplored. I feel like everyone thought you just had to play it with beat up and that was all, but I mean, yeah, it is what it is. We'll take a look at some of these other teams shortly. I did just quickly want to take a look at the metagame stats here, because again, I feel like there's a lot we can learn from this, and we do see here Sneasler tied with Goldango at #1, which is honestly insane. If you told me a month ago Sneasler was going to be the most used mon in the game, I would have said you're lying. Instant and Rillaboom technically slipped to 4 and 5 here, which is crazy. Primarina up at 3rd is also really weird, because like a lot of people I talk to be like, nah, Prim's just fraudulent. This is a fraudulent mon, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that. I do actually think Primarina is a good Pokemon, but I also understand why people think it's bad, right? You're in a metagame with a lot of big physical attackers. Mons like Sneasler, right? You got King Gambit, and granted, Gambit's like not bad into it, just because Prim's not bad into Gambit, because a lot of Gambits aren't running Iron Head. You got mons like Garchomp, right? Dina, like all these, like even like Dragapult. Yeah, if Dragapult like catches this thing with a Ghost move, it's doing a lot of damage. So, you've got this mon that's really weak physically, in a metagame with a lot of great physical attackers. But again, as a special mon, it's fantastic. It's especially defensive. It's really good, right? Its speed stats, nothing to write home about. But between like Hyper Voice being a water type move on it, a Stab Moonblast, this mon is like incredible, and it's good to see it getting results. Gambit, like, I don't want to say it's dropped off, because like the difference between like 7th place and like 3rd place is like, it's really, really close. But yeah, Gambit dropping off a bit, because this one I think was like the most used for like a week or two ago. Amoonguss obviously still up there, and then this is kind of where the drop off comes. Seeing Chomp being the most used dragon was really interesting, but again, when you look at the top 6 mons here, Chomp is good into Sneasler, good into Goldie. It's technically bad into Prim, but it's like, it can deal a lot of damage to Prim just thanks to it being faster. It's good into Instant. It's also good into King Gambit, right? So like, there are like 4 of the top 6 mons really struggle into Garchomp, and I think that's a big reason why you're seeing it rise up a lot. Obviously, Archaladon Rain's still good. I feel like this is just one of those mons where people are kind of getting bored of it. Like, it's been at the top of the meta literally since the day it started, right? Like, when the ladder dropped, everyone was playing Archaladon Rain just because it was really good, and like it still is really good, right? It won this event. But yeah, I definitely think people are kind of getting a little bored of it. And I mean, look, some of these mons here in the top, do have like decent matchups into it, but also some of them can't really touch it. Like Sneasler's obviously fantastic. Goldie, like if it gets to +2 is like pretty decent. But like, and also Prim's another one where if this one has speed control, like its Moonblast will like two-shot Archaladon as well. We're still seeing Ape actually. I'm kind of surprised it's this high in usage, but again, I do think it's a great mon. Obviously, we've seen mons like D-Knight here getting 52% win rate. Pelipper, Pelly's kind of dropping off a bit. My guy Polteezy here, surprised Polt actually isn't higher. I guess the issue with like Polt is like you need to have the right team built around it. And I think as good as Polt Sneasler is also just so good with like other mons that doesn't rely on Polt as much as Polt probably needs Sneasler right now. Just because of like how good they like synergize. I guess for anyone who like doesn't know why they're so good together, basically, as a dragon type, you can't hit like two things, right? It's steel and it's fairy. Poison hits fairy, fighting hits steel. Sneasler has both. That's why they're so good. Basically, Sneasler kind of just enables Polt to spam like Terra Dragon, Banded Dragon Darts, right? It's really good. It's like a sick combo. Legion here, obviously, on a majority of the Pelipper teams. I will say, I think Legion as a standalone mon's fantastic. I also think, like, just going for, like, the Choice Scarf, Last Respect stuff, where you slap it on a team, and it can, like, close out a game with, like, Choice Specs, Last Respects. Choice Scarf, Last Respects. You can also just, like, throw it on lead in some matchups and just say, hey, you can't fake me out. I'm going to go for, like, Terra Water, Wave Crashes. With adaptability, of course, as well. That's, like, why I think Scarf's really good. Luna's still really good. My guy, Talonflame up here also doing well. Sinister being this high up is crazy, but its win rate is kind of like reflecting it. Buzz is another one. I'm surprised like Buzz and like and Magmar are like actually not here. Like they were so successful at the last regional that I'm like kind of shocked they're this low usage. Ninetales obviously is one of the better answers as well right now into the rain stuff. So like I'm not surprised that's rising up. Whimsicott Volk as well. I expected them to perform a little bit better. Male Indeedee, surprisingly. Wait, is that male Indeedee or is that female Indeedee? That's female, yeah? Let's have a look real quick. I feel like that's male Indeedee. And male Indeedee, if it is yeah, this is male Indeedee, yeah. This one's good, man. I think like male Indeedee plus like fire type here is like pretty good. Yeah, like we're seeing it always like paired up with the fire type. Really, really good Pokemon, man. As I said, check it out. Hydreigon just won the last regional, can't get any love. Magmar still good. Dozer only 9, dude. That's kind of crazy. H-Typhlosion as well. I mean, Giraffe, if you want to talk about a fraudulent Pokemon, Giraffe's right there. Let's have a look at the win rates here, man. Is there anything like crazy? I mean, these are on Wolf's team. That doesn't count. Oh, dude, Poliwrath as well. I didn't even talk about that. It had another spot in the top 16. Poliwrath had like 2 placements, and they were both top 16, which is kind of crazy. Obviously, like Wolf had that. Viv as well. Viv kind of goated. Like, not gonna lie, this one's doing like really well. I think it's really good on those Goth teams. Sorry, on the Goth teams, on the Garchomp teams. Speaking of Gothits here, I'm assuming Wolf kind of carried that, right? Yeah, he went 9-2, which means like without Wolf, it went what, like 5 and yeah, like that's the Wolf Glick effect, baby. Crow, obviously still pretty solid. Palafin, my goat. I actually think this mod needs to be explored more. Clef also having a really good weekend as well. I think it has a really good matchup into a lot of stuff right now. And then we see like Magmar, Ninetales, yeah. So a lot of that like we kind of knew was good. How about Sylveon? I think someone was running Sylveon, right? I feel like Joe UX9 or some shit pulled up to an event with that. But yeah, that one's like still really good, dude. I think people like, I don't know. I don't want to say people aren't exploring things enough because like obviously they are. The meta keeps developing at a really fast rate. Like we literally see Delphox here in the top 8. We see, sorry, in the top 4. We also see Poliwrath in the top 4. So like people are definitely experimenting and doing good. And like top 8 here, Wolf Glick with this crazy shit, kind of insane. But yeah, is there anything like too crazy I want to talk about here? This is just like Garchomp flying spam. I actually did have a very similar team in the builder. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was really good because like flying types right now don't really have that much competition, right? Like there's no good offensive electric types, right? Like the best electric type in the game is like Buzz. There's like no good rock types. Not Garchomp. T-Tail's like fallen off a cliff. And then like what? Ice types, there's like just Ninetales, which like it's not a bad ice type, but realistically Ninetales isn't your counter to like D-Knight, yeah. Like a lot of the time, you're just gonna leave something like Goldengo, Talonflame and just like break it. So yeah, this is like a really cool team with like Garchomp, Goldie, and then just like flying spam, dude. I really enjoy this. That's a really sick team there. Anything else crazy I want to look at here? This is like a standard team we've seen a lot from regionals. This is like, I don't want to say this is a standard team, but it's pretty cool. It's just like balance. Is this setup or spec? Yeah, okay, so it's like setup. Yeah, this is a really cool balance team because like you've got this trick room mode where like I'm guessing this Goldie isn't like super quick. But you're running like double fake out, right? You got intimidate terrain. Actually, it's a triple. Yeah, it's triple fake out, dude. I might actually make a. I have a replay. Actually, no. I guess Brady ended up making a video on it. It was like funny. I was showing like my friends some replays where like I would like get a Dondozo player. I would get them to set up, and then I would have these 3, and then basically you just cycle fake outs. In either like one, you get the poison with poison touch on like fake out. Or you just get them to -6 and there's nothing they can do about it because you just sit there cycling. You just fake out switch, fake out switch, fake out switch. It's really funny. If you guys didn't see, I guess Brady Smith, VGC Corner, he actually also put a video out on it. Check it out. It's like really, really funny. And maybe I make like a short or something with it where I just like absolutely grief a guy. But yeah, like really cool team there. And yeah, you got the Trick Room mode here with like P2 Luna. Goldie again with these mons is like sick, right? You have 3 fake out pieces and a gold angle. It's like, it's really solid. Anything else super crazy? Here was the other Poliwrath. This one was different though. This was Bandit, I think. Yeah, this is like Bandit Terra Water. I actually like this, but at the same time, part of me feels like you just go like Quackleval with like Jolly Bandit and it like does the exact same thing and probably like a little bit better. But regardless, you know, 2 top 16s for it is like really, really good. Coco Bello here, another player getting like really good results. Is this setup Volk or Rage Powder? It is actually setup Volk, okay. I had a feeling it was set up when I saw the Rillaboom. Because this is like different modes here. Oh, they actually don't even have rain. It's on this. Okay. I didn't even notice that. Okay, that's sick. I like that now. My opinion's changed. Because like I get, oh dude, and this, oh, Scarf Soak into Woodhammer. Dude, that's saucy. This team's actually really heat. I'm not gonna lie. Because like the thing with this team, and this is why I like teams like this so much, yeah, is because there are so many different modes that you never know what you're gonna get, yeah. Are they gonna go like Volkrilla where they go like Fake Out and they Quiver Dance? Are they gonna go like Mouse Arch where they just go like Pop Bomb into like, you know, oh dude, it's not even sturdy. Sorry, it's not sturdy. It is sturdy. It's not even stamina. That's crazy. Dude, I just realized too. Dude, you soak into Terra Electric. Oh my god, that's crazy. You soak into Terra Electric Power Herb Electro Shot. That's wild, dude. Man, this team actually, this team's sick actually. This team's actually insane. Because like you have like Rain plus Archaludon, and because it's like sturdy as well, you know, it's like max, so they're 1 point faster than Goldango. Dude, this shit's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot going on here. Like these two can set up together. Like this mon here goes kind of just crazy by itself. Like this mon in Rain goes crazy. This mon in Rain goes crazy. Like this mon also sets up Woodhammers and Electro Shots. Yeah, that's actually crazy. Coco Bello, you're absolutely cooking with that, my guy. Absolutely freaking cooking with that. Are there any like other players I know here? I think I had like friends that participated, but I don't know how well they performed in it. Oh, yeah, I can't see anyone. Yeah, we'll kind of leave it there, I think, for that. Is there any like crazy teams down here? No, I can't see. Actually, dude, I'm not lying. I might actually steal this and play with it. That team's kind of sick. Like there are so many modes going on here that like it's actually like really good tech. This is the kind of team you don't want to see in best of 1 close team sheet either. Like this right here is a GC team that'll absolutely dominate you. Like this is an idea I actually think I could steal, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, anyway, I think that's gonna be it, guys. Obviously not too much going on this weekend. What are the chances Lima updated while I was doing this? Nah, damn, they baited me for a second there. But yeah, unfortunately, nothing else I can talk about here. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for this one. Obviously, I'm back now. I do apologize, no uploads for a week. I know I'm a bad human being. But unfortunately, I had to move houses, so I hope you can forgive me. And yeah, we also have some, we got some stuff planned. I'm gonna do my best to try get back to daily uploads. I don't know how it's gonna go. I am pretty tired, but we will see. I think tomorrow we're gonna do a vid with my homie Dim the Sim. I don't know if anyone saw, but what's his name? Woltank put out a video using Yanma. And that's kind of my plan for tomorrow. Hopefully, I follow through with it. I've said it in the video now, so if you guys are interested in watching me play a game with Yanma, or like a few games with Yanma, check it out. Because that's probably what I'm doing tomorrow. But yeah, anyway, guys, I guess let me know what you think of these teams down below. Obviously, we saw some crazy shit. Wolfie out here cooking. Obviously, Coco Bello cooking, man. So yeah, it's just some fire stuff, yeah, man. I'm getting excited for how this meta is developing. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's it for this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.